Hi guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Venus and Taurus for all signs, and we're really lucky with Venus and Taurus because Venus is at home in Taurus. So when it comes to beauty, pleasure, enjoyment, our values, getting a boost in our resources, everything does a little bit better when it comes to Venusian things. So we can really balance out our relationships during this time. We can find more connection that is good for the long term, and more peace, more love, more comfort, more abundance. And I'm in Spain like during this time, so it's kind of nice to see the simple ways of life. Spain doesn't seem to be as corporation based and everything as America is. They do a lot of their natural farming and everything. I'm out kind of in the countryside right now, so there's just a bunch of like hills and everything right now. Yes, beautiful. Wow, the countryside and a lot of birds. So yeah, it's kind of like getting in touch with the simple pleasure, the simplicity. Venus and Taurus is really about those simple things. It is about getting back to nature and not really making things too complicated. It is about saying no to things that just don't feel right, because Taurus is a feminine sign also, so we can be really powerful with getting into that receiving mode and magnetizing the right things to us. And I like this, working with this, because we can use the law of assumption. So I've been using a lot of affirmations with the law of assumption because, Taurus is all about self-worth and having a very boosted up self-worth to recognize, that it's already yours. You can boost up your value and just kind of assume it's yours and affirm that it is because it is, if you believe that it is. So that's really a powerful thing to work with during this time, recognizing that you are worthy and, boosting up, all the areas that you could be more worthy of something that you really value. So yeah, it's about slowing down and being, more present. Taurus is a very slow moving sign, slow, grounded moving sign. We're looking at sustainability. We're looking at longevity. We're looking at, just the simple things, the smells, the feels, it's very earthy. We can really simplify things. We can enjoy the simple things like getting out in nature, going for a walk, enjoying nice meals with close friends, and just enjoying, We can make new connections during this time, and the new connections that we make will be, very solid, very long-lasting, very harmonious. And, when it comes to our relationships, we can definitely fortify them with new agreements with what we value and what we want in our relationships. And it's important during this time to really connect to what you value on a daily basis, because Taurus is about, just your daily basis and your needs, what's in the fridge, basically. What do you need more so in your daily life, and maybe what can you be devoted to in your daily life that would improve your life overall, make more beauty, make more, give you more wisdom, just give you the foundation and the support that you really need. And I'm going to go over the gene keys. I wasn't sure if I was going to go over the gene keys, but I already know most of them because I have heavy Taurus. I have, a lot of placements in Taurus. So I'll go over the gene keys because it is helpful to recognize, the higher expression of Taurus energy, and then also, where the certain transits are happening, because we have two. We have Venus squaring Pluto, and then we have Venus conjuncting Uranus. Okay. We have gene key 3, which is, it goes to 2 degrees of Taurus. It is part Aries also, but so it's a little like chaotic in the beginning because it's the end of Aries, it's a little aggressive. There's like that burst of energy, because it's all about that that eternal child. It's about following your happiness and your joy and your excitement and, that burst, that spark, so you can go create. We're all creators. We're all supposed to be creators. And, recognizing where we do want to create more, where we want to be the vessel of our creations. So this is getting us in touch with our creative sovereign energy. And we're kind of getting in tune with this with Venus squaring Pluto until the 9th. It doesn't actually happen until the next gene key. But, so we're feeling that intensity, at least in this one, and we might feel that urge to create. And with Venus squaring Pluto, we could be dealing with power dynamics. We could be dealing with fears. Which fear is always safe. We have to recognize that fear is always safe. Fear is an illusion. And there's a part where we can kind of mine the gift, where we can recognize more of our creative ability in the moment, especially when it comes to money, love, and what we value. We can recognize how we want to actually create. And Venus and Taurus, we're really comfortable. We're really fixed with our values, our food, our resources, the way we like, a certain thing done, the way we like life, the way we like being in our. So with Venus square Pluto, we're aligning our values and recognizing if our values align with that bigger group. What do you stand for? What is good for the collective? And finding this kind of, tension between that, because the square is always a Mars aspect. So it's not always comfortable, but you kind of get into, Pluto, which could be deeper fears, but also at the same time, when you get over the fear, it goes towards those deeper soul desires for, growth and expansion. So there you go. There's always gift in the shadow, and we can kind of maybe mine the shadow for more creativity and more recognition with how much we actually do create our reality as sovereign creators. Because the manifesting thing is real. The affirmations that I've been using, I've manifested so much stuff. It really, really works, the robotic affirmations. And you can do it, from your state, and then also, your assumptions and, any kind of thing. And it kind of makes you recognize how our thoughts and the way we speak, the way we think, it does actually all create our reality. Okay, and the Venus Pluto square is actually happening in gate 27, which is all about feeding the sacred. It's all about devotion and creativity. So what are we devoted to? What is sacred to us? What do we need to be in flow with the rhythm of life? Because Taurus is all about finding that rhythm of life that, isn't pushing too hard. It's about finding that balance between giving and receiving, and really being in touch with our needs. We can't push ourselves too hard. We need to be able to receive and be able to kind of maybe pause and align with our values, so we can, maybe put out a lot less energy for a lot more reward, and not just go and go and go and go, So finding a nice rhythm of life. And maybe we have been, pushing too hard, serving too much. Maybe we do need to cut back. But what is supporting the tribe too, is what this is about. And it's not just that nourishment in the food and the material that supports the tribe. It is also, the values and spirituality, in a sense, in that wisdom. So we don't need to just so we're not just focused on surviving and, go, 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 go like that. So we can actually thrive at the same time too, with that sort of wisdom. And then when Venus is in gate 24, which is 7 degrees to 13 degrees, gate 27 is 2 degrees to 7 degrees, and that'll be there from until June 14th. And then Venus goes into gate 24, which I have this gate. This gate is all about Loops, like we can get stuck in these mental loops. If you have this gate, you get stuck in certain loops, and this could be, just a way of doing things, a thought process, or, a sense of knowing something. You get stuck in these certain patterns, and the shadow of this actually is addiction. So it can go towards food, it can go towards bad ways of thinking, and you can stay stuck in whatever you're kind of addicted to. But where the gift is the gift is pattern recognition. It's knowing that when you get stuck on something and when you just keep on coming back to it, and it's kind of like you're recognizing the loop and what you're stuck on, but you kind of have to kind of dwell on every aspect of that one thing that you keep on coming back to over and over and over again, because there's something that you're trying to get to know really, really well, so you can understand the full dimensions of it, inside and out. And a breakthrough will happen, as long as you're not like trying to force the breakthrough, and you're maybe even sitting in silence to let the breakthrough happen. Meditation is very important with this, because a breakthrough wants to happen for better solutions, for invention. So whether it's something you're doing or something you're thinking, it's really trying to take something that is complex and then to make it simple, to also bring something new to humanity. New inventions, new things, new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new. So it's really, the gift is really awesome, but, there might be some sort of like loops or whatever that you're stuck on until the breakthrough happens. And then that one goes until, the 13th degree. So that one is there. Venus is there until the 19th, dealing with that energy. It'll be out on the 20th. And then it's in gate 2, which I have this one too. I love this one. This is the feminine energy. So if you know about the feminine energy, it is all about receiving. It's about surrender. It's about trust. It's the yin energy. It is the field. It is the universe. It is the unseen. It is what holds, it is earth too. It is what holds space and room for everything and everyone, good or bad, but it holds it all with love anyway, because everything happens for a reason. We go through things for a reason, and we just need to surrender and trust in that knowing, and just hold everyone and everything with love. And the more that we can kind of open ourselves up to the love and the surrender and the acceptance and the feminine ways of being, the more we can surrender to the moment and be in flow with divine logic. And when we're in flow with divine logic, we're in flow with synchronicity, and we're kind of connecting to the bigger field of power that is all around us. It makes us because we're kind of we're evolving into more and more emotional beings, and into moving from our emotions instead of logic. So we get to surrender to the way we're feeling too, and not staying stuck too long in the negative ways of thinking, because always the negative ways of thinking and being are because we get stuck in our ego. So the shadow of this is dislocation. You seeing yourself as separate, you seeing yourself as alone, and handling everything all by yourself, when we're never actually alone. We have to open up. We have to kind of open up our heart and just have more unconditional love and more connectedness to everything and everyone, so we can connect to just the waves of life and the openness of life. Because then we can surrender to the feeling and receive more of our feelings and act on our feelings, and kind of be in, just the flow of life, surrendering to the waves of life. And recognizing that this is really powerful, that we can receive everything and trust that it is all for, some sort of greater good. It is all for, a reason. And when we are letting our emotions flow like that and we're listening to our emotions, we're receiving some sort of information and some sort of communication even from the universe that is guiding us in a certain direction. So we just gotta, let life in, let every experience in, whether it is good or bad, it is all beautiful at the end of the day because it is life. And then we give ourselves permission to be life, because we are life. And it's less about letting our ego and the mind, overcomplicate things and take too much control. So it's also the driver too, because it is the sacral energy. It is that source that gives us that motivation and that power to go in a certain direction. And I have this Sphinx cross, so it's the 2 to the 1, and actually the 2 should be the 1 because first you receive, then you act. With that knowledge of the past and the present, and the past and the future, and how to lead with that, with whatever intuitive way you actually do it, because it is intuitive, it is energy, it is not, logical. It is connecting to that, the big understanding of unity. And unity is about everything, and it is our essence. It is like the force that is everlasting. It's kind of unfeasibly big and beautiful. And when you let yourself surrender into that, you get to discover how much bigger and fuller and beautiful life actually is. So even if it's our disappointments and or whatever feelings that we can get caught up in, the conspiracies, the craziness of today, the good, the bad, everything has a gift. The shadow always has a gift. And as long as you keep your heart open, you can connect to that gift. You can, lead more with love and going towards more beauty, because that's why we're all here at the end of the day, to create more beauty, to go towards more beauty. Nobody goes to eat food and says that was shitty, or that shitty coffee place, and wants to go there again and, put more energy into that. We want to create more beauty. So it is all about, experiencing everything so we can know what we really prefer. So we can create more of that. And this kind of reminded me of Abraham Hicks, because that's one of the big times where we can get, when we get really dislocated and shut ourselves out from the bigger life things, is when somebody dies. But Abraham Hicks, when she was talking about connecting with her husband, she says, she was saying that it's even more beautiful now because she has that strong connection. She always has. And, she's actually connecting to higher aspects of him versus the everyday mundane things that we get caught up in when we're here. He is, kind of a bigger force now and a higher force, the elevated force. So she said, her connection to him is actually stronger than ever. And we actually all have that connection. So, it's all about that surrender and trust in that connection too, and opening up your heart so you let yourself kind of feel that. This is all about being trusting in the flow and the mysteries of life and the ever unfolding. You are never lost. You are life itself. You are always connected to source. You are never disconnected. And the more you can just kind of surrender and kind of melt into the dream that is life, you can be soft. You can be kind of allow trust and flow with life. So it's a big energy, but that's obviously one of my favorite energies. That's my life purpose energy. So as long as I'm in that, I'm supported. So, yep, it'll be there until 23rd. So until the 23rd, we're in gate 2, which is all about that feminine energy. And it's going to be really powerful to connect with that because, okay. So then it goes into gate 23 on the 23rd. Interesting. So, and gate 23 is all about simplicity. It's about uncomplicating things. It's making things easier. Sometimes we come up with certain ways to do things or certain ways to live out of the mind and of the ego, instead of really listening to your body and what your body wants to do. And everything always that's always complicated always comes from the mind too. So instead, like, we can really be more so in our bodies and figure out how you really want to live that is more simple. How can you make your life a little bit more simple and lead from that bodily wisdom versus from the mind? And it'll be there until the 29th in gate 23. Make your life simple. And then Venus gets to conjunct Uranus in this fun gate, gate 8, which I have this one too. So gate 8 is all about the shadow is mediocrity. And we kind of get sucked into mediocrity with, the boxes and the labels of life that, life tries to, by following the herd, basically, by kind of most people are imitating everybody else instead of listening to the way you truly want to live. You get to this age and you do this, you buy this car, you buy this house, you fit into this mold. And if you don't, you're weird. And so most people just go on imitating everybody else instead of really listening to, their own unique soul essence and what they have to uniquely give to the world, which is their own style and their own flair. And that is actually your inner light with how you can radiate, with this, we can really get in touch with our soul's flair. And what did we come here to, express? What is that inner light that we kind of, in that inner radiance that we kind of had as a child, but we got dimmed down and down and down. And we maybe, thought we had to go this way or that way, or, we can really connect to our inner self in that diamond within ourselves and let that out more and more, because that is your true essence. That is the way you shine out in the world. That is the way you're supposed to be more so out in the world. And the more you kind of lean into that, the more you do kind of find your way and your direction and just a easier flow, towards what you're supposed to be doing in life. So it's all about kind of connecting to what's within you to bring that out. And we also get stuck in the ego in so many ways, like, oh, I'm living this, unique path and this unique flair, like life, because, say you go on this spiritual path and you're like, oh, I'm doing everything different. I'm living in Bali and traveling, whatever it is, like doing the classic, like spiritual thing, wearing the hat. But that's not unique. That's not that diamond, like unique self that you came here with. So you can always tell, like, when somebody like is really connected to what's within them and their diamond self, and bringing that more and more so out into the world, because that's your powerful, unique essence and your power from within that nobody else has, that you have, and we all have that, but we get disconnected from that. So when you connect with that more and more and more, you begin to love yourself more, and you can shine more of that light out into the world, and you can kind of relax into life, relax into life and the way you want to be out in the world, and just let your life be light, and not suppress it, not dim it for anyone, just kind of, be who you were meant to be out into the world. Okay, so I'm going to go, oh yeah, and I love that because Venus is going to be conjuncting Uranus in gate 8. So we can have a major breakthrough with that, with something exciting to go towards, breaking up our routine, maybe awakening, but I love Uranus because it's like a master manifestation planet, because something random comes in, an opportunity, inspiration, just something random that comes in that kind of breaks you open and kind of elevates you in a certain way. So be a little spontaneous. And if you're feeling the need to like dress up or do something that you really want to do to, really connect to that inner light within you, this would be a perfect time to do it. And I would say the entire time Venus is in this gate, because, it's going to be very close to Uranus at 29 degrees. Okay, and then Venus exits on the 3rd. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go through all the signs and tell you what this means for you. Taurus, this is all about you. So Venus is in your first house. So it's going to be really easy to manifest more of what you want, to attract more of what you want. You're going to be kind of glowing out in the world. This is a great time to do anything, really start anything, accept opportunities, attract people to you, build stronger relationships. And yeah, you're just going out in the world and you can manifest more of what you want. So in the beginning, Venus is going to be squaring Pluto, so there's going to be some sort of tension with, who you are out in the world, your career, your reputation, work, and how you can maybe evolve into that higher version of you and be more aligned with your values and what you want, and at the same time evolve with the current times at work and out in the world, and connecting with the right people that you really want to connect with, and so you can be powerful with being your authentic self, going towards your desires. And then when Venus conjuncts Uranus at the end of this transit, there can be a major breakthrough. Like maybe you realize you were holding yourself back in a certain way. You were keeping yourself in some sort of box, some sort of limitation. This is a major breakthrough when it comes to manifestations. You can recognize how you have been holding yourself back in any way. So you can kind of plant those seeds and kind of reinvent yourself or reinvent your way of being out in the world. The first house is your way of being. It is your avatar. It is your identity. When Venus is in Taurus, it's a great time to get a makeover, but especially when it's in your first house, you can do the beauty things. You can show up out in the world in a completely different way, in whatever way that you value and any way that you connect with. Oh, and it's nice. Wait, let me check one thing. So Venus doesn't make a sextile to Jupiter in the third, but I kind of like this by sign anyway, because we have the nice water going on and we have the nice earth. So you're going to be, with Jupiter in the third, you're going to be more charismatic, more wanting to socialize, connect with your community, just more optimistic. And I like how there's going to be this nice sextile with Mercury that's going to be here too. So maybe new ideas, new connections come your way that help you expand also. So it seems like the challenge is maybe a certain relationship and maybe getting, and I pulled some cards, so I'm doing the cards. Some sort of relationship, some sort of way of being in a relationship that might have been a little bit more immature. Maybe there is some sort of like maturing process that can happen with your relationship. Your strength is your stubbornness, your stubbornness and with your beliefs, you being stubborn with your beliefs, with what you want to create out in the world and what you want in love, in life, in your relationships, is ultimately going to lead you towards a more solid foundation. And the 4 wands, like high-level soulmate connections. And I think there's going to be a lot of power with going within you, kind of going within and recognizing maybe where you prop something up, where you maybe thought something was valuable, where it's time to release that. Like maybe it's just not aligning with you anymore. Maybe it is a little bit heavier and dense and not aligning with who you are now. So it's all about knowing what you want specifically and kind of getting into that feminine energy too. This could also be just some sort of relationship coming back that, when Venus is in the first house, that can, happen because you're just attracting, a lot. So recognizing where, you cross paths with some sort of relationship, but there was some sort of clashing when it comes to perspectives. And there is a way that you can get realigned now. And it is coming out as a realignment from within first. One more card. Spirit, And the Spirit Speaks came out. So Spirit Speaks came out with the Lover. You're listening to that internal wisdom and your own inner wisdom to kind of get aligned in your relationships in a whole new way. And you can definitely have more of an open conversation when it comes to connecting with the universe and receiving knowledge and insight that way. So you can open up a dialogue with what are those deeper needs that you want for yourself in your relationships and your life. All right. Thank you so much, Taurus. Hi, Jen. Okay, so this is happening in your 12th house, which has to do with behind the scenes. It could be you going on a trip, a spiritual adventure, solo, kind of, so you can kind of eat, pray, love, so you can get aligned within. The 12th house is where you get aligned with your deeper soulful needs and your deeper soulful essence. So, you recognize what you really value. So you might go hermit mode. You might give yourself that time to, sit back, work on creative projects, really relax. And I definitely recommend it because in the next couple months, Uranus is going to be entering your first house, bringing all sorts of, random stuff your way and like a whole new chapter for you. So you getting really internally aligned first could be really, really powerful. And Venus scoring Pluto is going to bring up certain beliefs. I love the 9th house because knowledge is power. And when Pluto is there, there's a deep need to go towards knowledge. But with Pluto, it might be fears about what certain groups believe or other groups believe and finding what you believe and not just kind of fitting in with the crowd. Because the more that you can just discover and expand your world, the more you can see what really resonates with you, and the more you can kind of break out of any beliefs that were maybe previously limiting. And when Venus crosses Uranus, there can be major breakthroughs, like about what was hidden, because the 12th house is what we can't see. It's our subconscious. And maybe you have some sort of breakthroughs about, relationships, about money, about what you really do value and, maybe evolving with that. Our desires are always evolving. So it's important to kind of let your desires evolve because sometimes we get what we want and we realize, it isn't what we wanted. So you got to open it up again to let yourself kind of grow and evolve. And then, there can be surprises that come your way from, relationships or random communication that helps give you this insight. So let's pull some cards for Gemini. Yeah, there's some big beliefs that you're definitely releasing that maybe you were very stubborn on, but it was actually keeping you stuck because there's a more balanced way to move forward. Temperance came out, so that's all about finding the balance between the material and the spiritual and finding the best way forward that way. Maybe a lot less effort when you balance out the spiritual too. Anything else for Gemini? Also, Venus in Taurus is going to boost up your 5th house. So love, romance, dating, creativity, or self-expression, because, Venus in better condition in Taurus. But there is some sort of judgment happening. So when the judgment card comes out, it is like a call in a certain direction. It's maybe recognizing where you judged a little bit too soon, a little bit too early, where you can have more of that openness and more of that love to actually listen to the call in the right direction. Because, when planets go through the 12th house, you can be connecting to spirituality and more of that deeper soulful essence that calls you in a certain direction. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. All right, Cancer. So this is happening in your 11th house, which is always a very lucky house. And when Venus is in the 11th house, it makes your friendship groups and your connections a lot easier. It's going to be, a good time to go out with friends, go socialize, go to events, go kind of reach beyond your social group even to kind of connect with more people. You could even be having, some sort of social media boost around this time. I like the 11th house because it's always a good time to reach out of your box in some way, like get to the wider, world and the bigger network of people to kind of see how far you can expand when it comes to your manifestations and what you really want. So it's a good time to focus on your hopes and your dreams and your wishes for the future. This is kind of a very sidekick house where you get in touch with that longer range vision of what you really want to go after. And you can do that and be really fixed with what you want with Venus and Taurus. So Venus is going to be squaring Pluto. So there might be some tension when it comes to eighth house things and friends. And the eighth house is fears, shame, guilt. But in those deeper, heavier emotions that are uncomfortable, that need to be brought up to the surface, there could be a deeper conversation that you've been needing to have with a friend for a while that you've been putting off, but actually talking about it and having power with that, and maybe setting boundaries or, not spending too much on friends and making sure they're paying too and making sure that's all balanced. And even energetically, what you're giving and receiving, and having some sort of transformation with that can be super, super powerful. And you've had Uranus in the 11th house for a long time, shaking up your friendship groups. And, this is a little bit of a shakeup, but a positive shakeup when Uranus is. What's really, really nice is that Jupiter is going to be in your first house, newly entering. So you are lucky. You are the chosen one for the next year. So there's a whole new way that you can step into that higher version of yourself, that is aligned with your hopes and your dreams and your wishes for the future. And you're going to be very optimistic about it. You're going to be connected to that higher, bigger vision that you ultimately want to go towards. So I love how the Magician came out for you. So you're definitely breaking out of the box with Venus. That'll be conjuncting Uranus. You can break out of the box when it comes to your friendship groups and meet new people, connect with new ways of making money, just a random opportunity that comes into your life that is aligned with your values and what you truly want to manifest, that says, here's a lucky random way of doing that and going in that direction. So yeah, it looks really positive for you. It's all about staying balanced though, because we can be overly optimistic with all this like positive energy, but it looks really good. It looks like you're headed towards more stability, more comfort, more of what you truly value, what you truly want, and you are the Magician. I mean, this is literally the perfect card that can come out for Cancer. You are the Magician. You have everything that you need and more to kind of make everything happen. And it's all about getting aligned with that vision that you truly want to create. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. Hi, Leo. This is amazing for you. This is happening in your 10th house of career, your long-term goals, your reputation, where you want to go long-term. When Venus is in the 10th house, you can really get aligned with that and what you really value and kind of up level. This would be a good time to ask for a raise and maybe get a promotion, maybe go after that ideal job. And yeah, just align with your manifestations with what you want to go long term. These are long term projections. You don't get there overnight, but you connect with that bigger vision and see how you can get aligned with that. My hair, I swear to God, I came to Spain and it never calmed down. It is all over the place. Spain took over my hair. And I don't know what to do with it now. Okay. So in the beginning of this transit, Venus is going to be making a square to Pluto. So there's going to be some sort of confrontation or some sort of frustration or tension when it comes to a serious relationship. So this might be confronting some sort of power dynamic. Maybe someone's been jealous. Maybe someone's been causing up drama, unconsciously or consciously. Sometimes people do it unconsciously and you just have to point it out so they don't do it anymore. But this can be a full kind of alignment with how can you show up out in the world more aligned with the people in the wider group that you want to connect with. And you can be really powerful with that too. and at the same time show up as that grounded, solid, stable presence, radiant presence that you are out in the world that leads the people with you, the way you shine. And I love how Jupiter's, entering the 12th house. So we're super psychic, but I don't know. We can connect with really prophetic dreams and our intuition in a really big way with what is the best path for us, And then Venus conjuncting Uranus, there could be a random job opportunity. There can be a random connection that comes to you that opens up your world in a whole new way. Just random opportunities. If you're feeling that, like that urge, Uranus transits always make you feel like electric and just make you want to like do something random and go to that random place, have fun, like break out of the box, break out of the mold, break out of the routine, so you can expand into that bigger version of yourself. So this is going to be some sort of positive breakthrough. If there's chaos at work, there is going to be something positive about it at the end of the day. So it is the Five of Wands came out. So I think there is some sort of recognition of people and fights and conflict that you can choose to get in or not get in. You can choose to stay in your lane and stay doing you and not get kind of sucked into any of these potential dynamics. But there is a lot of anxiety, maybe Jupiter in the 10th house is heightening some sort of just anxiety or subconscious fears are being brought to the surface. But it's always good to kind of get back into yourself and recognize what you're valuing. What are you valuing long term? The 10 of Pentacles came out. There can be long-term abundance and stability that is made with ease that you can be open to, you can receive, because Taurus is all about receiving and being receptive. It's the feminine sign. So as long as you're getting yourself internally aligned with that, you can be open to what's truly meant for you, especially when, this random surprise that can come in. So with Venus conjuncting Uranus by the end of this transit. So recognize certain anxieties. Let me clarify the 9 of Swords. There might be some sort of anxieties, but the anxieties are going to make you stand taller. That there is no such thing as fear. There is always something you can mine from the shadow. So maybe it's some sort of unnecessary anxiety that you had in the background that you didn't really even realize that you're freeing yourself from. And you're freeing yourself from it because you're getting more of that connection to spirit. The Temperance came out, you're connecting the spiritual and the material, so you can have the ultimate expansion and that ultimate abundance that is truly yours. It is already yours. Affirm and work with the law of assumption. It is already yours. That job, that career, that dream life, it is yours. And any anxieties that say otherwise, that's just not even real. So, the more that you can have that openness and love with what's truly meant for you, the more you will expand and expand in an easy way. What else did I want to say with Temperance, though? Oh, yeah, you are protected. Either way, like with Neptune in the 9th house, you are protected, with your manifestations, as long as you're believing in yourself and what you can accomplish and you're aligned with your meaning and purpose and your mission and why you are here, you can do it. Okay. So get more so aligned with that to get empowered and know that, you are protected to go towards the 10 of Pentacles, which is long-term stability, abundance, and relationships and all the good things, wealth, prosperity. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. Hi, Virgo. Okay, so with Venus in the 9th house, you are having a lucky time out in the world because Venus is making a trine to you. So it's giving you a bit of a glow up, positive vibes, radiance. It's making you more radiant. It's making you more optimistic, more able to just receive lucky opportunities. When there's 9th house energy, it's important to expand and explore your worldview. Knowledge is power. So going after knowledge, you know, some sort of belief system, spirituality, the esoterics, you know, maybe even traveling. So you see a different way that people live. This can just broaden your worldview in general and kind of give you that freedom to pick and choose what is really meant for you. So it's a good time to kind of study, and you can pick it up a lot easier. You know, stuff like that. Go on a trip. It's going to be a really fun time. You can meet somebody while you're on a trip. And yeah, your money should be doing better overall because Venus is in better condition and not in Aries. So you can open up your world to, you know, a bigger vision of what you want at the same time. Because the ninth house is like your beliefs and your core beliefs of what you believe you can manifest out into your reality. So maybe you can have a lot of breakthroughs at the same time. With Venus conjuncting Uranus, random opportunities coming your way. This kind of looks very enlightening with releasing any limiting beliefs that might have been stopping you before that were very rigid. Because Taurus is very rigid. Once the beliefs are there, they can be rigid, but like maybe they're a bit more malleable with Venus here in your favor. And then with Venus squaring Pluto, there could be tension with work, you know, with work, daily life, your routine. You got to make sure you're not pushing too hard with work, working smarter, not harder. And yeah, so there could be some sort of tension. Maybe you learn something new to take off the work and the grind. Maybe there's some sort of fear with work and coworkers or AI stuff that you can explore your options and different ways to do things to either free you up with work or to kind of go into more of a lane or more of, you know, doing what you really want to do. Because we are in a massive time of evolution in society. So exploring like your options and how you can kind of align with, you know, your own abundance and the abundance that you really want is very, very powerful. There could be tension with coworkers, but maybe a conversation that needs to be had. You're aligning with people at work in the way you want to align with, you know, when it comes to your beliefs. What else with the yeah, maybe there's too much work and not enough play, but maybe when Venus goes more so into the ninth house, you can have more play and you can set yourself free. So the Queen of Pentacles came out. You are definitely, you affirm that you are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of success. You are worthy of stability. Taurus is all about assuming, because you want to be in that energy of assuming that your value, assuming your worth, to know that you are worthy of it so you can receive it. Maybe there's some sort of like Knight of Cups energy came out reversed. So maybe there's some sort of energy that hasn't been very reciprocal, where you can kind of pull your energy back and see how much farther you can expand. Because I like this sextile, and Jupiter's in your 11th house. So you are one of the luckiest signs in the next year, even though it might not feel like it with the South Node in your first house. You're releasing a lot when it comes to old roles, old selves, old identities, and finding your power. Queen of Wands came out. You're stepping into more of your confidence, more of your power, more of your boldness and who you truly are, and who, like, you are getting in touch with what you believe you can create so you can set yourself free. Clarify this Knight of Cups. Yeah, maybe there's something that you just don't love doing, and there's a different way. Yeah, Knight of Swords comes out. So there is some way that some information can come your way, a different way of being, some communication that kind of sets you free. So just know if there's a little bit of chaos with Venus conjuncting Uranus over here, or just a little bit of a power struggle, good news is coming your way, and it is going to make you more stable, more solid in the long run. All right. And in more of your creative sovereign energy. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. Hi, Libra. Okay, so Venus is entering your 8th house, and the 8th house isn't always like a comfortable house, but with a good planet here, you know, you should be doing well. So more money could be coming your way because the 8th house rules money. This is a good time to refinance. You know, there could be rebates coming your way. There could be, you know, better contracts. If you've been needing to renegotiate any sort of contract, this is going to be a really beneficial time to do it. And yeah, maybe you can clear out some debts, get some debts forgiven, sort that out. Also, if you've been needing to do some sort of deeper healing work, also your partner could be doing well, if you're not receiving like a money boost, or if you're not receiving kind of a bulk of money. Your partner could also be doing really well, and then you benefit also. But Venus rules you. So, Venus in better condition in Taurus means you're in better condition also, and not, in Aries. So I like that. But with Venus squaring Pluto in the beginning, there might be some tension. And the fifth house is tension. The fifth house is kids. So maybe there's tension with kids and responsibilities, and who takes on what, who's paying for what, just kids and responsibilities, like, who's taking on what. Maybe the kids need to do more chores, or maybe you can delegate your time and your energy in a certain way. Maybe you can spend more time with your kids, recognizing what's important. Doing that deeper dive into yourself and into your emotions, because the eighth house, we can store some of those like heavier emotions, like when it comes to how people feel about us, or how we don't do things because we're scared of what society would say, or what somebody would say, or guilt or shame, or any of those emotions that we suppress. So we can kind of bring those up and actually be released from those heavier emotions, to recognize what you value at a deeper soulful level, what you really desire. Because the eighth house is all about also going after your desires with what you want to create. So really getting into that and releasing yourself from anything that's not really yours. And this looks like you could totally be getting rid of any fears about creating in general, and putting your creative works out there, so you can be powerful with fifth house things, which is creativity and self-expression. Express yourself the way you want to express it. If you want to be more sexy, when Venus is in the eighth house, you can totally see how you can have more of that magnetism, and really work with the feminine energy in general. So I really like that. But yeah, Venus square Pluto. Yeah, maybe anything else. There could be tension. Oh yeah, with dating, I guess, like in your relationship with love, maybe some love needs to be expressed. Maybe you want to be loved deeper in a certain way. With Pluto on the fifth, there's an intensity with love, and you are called towards that deeper soulful fulfillment when it comes to love. And going after what you really want, and being powerful with that, and connecting with who you really want, and not obsessing over anybody, because that is pushing them away. You got to be more so, aligned with yourself first, and that's how your manifestations can happen in a better way. Because this is also the house of manifestation. It's like transmuting those deeper things and recognizing how you can alchemize and actually be more of a creator of your reality. If you just get in tune with the laws of the universe and Hermeticism, and the laws of the universe. Did I say that already? Whatever. So you can manifest your reality, your desired reality, in a very, very powerful way. Okay, so the Magician came out. Yep, Magician. There's everything. You can make anything that you want happen. You can make all your hopes and your dreams and your wishes happen. And maybe it's taking a leap towards something. With Venus conjuncting Uranus, maybe you're freeing yourself from some sort of debt or obligation or contract that's not valuable to you anymore, because the Ace of Pentacles came out reversed. Maybe you thought something was valuable, but maybe actually releasing it is going to lighten you up and actually cause a lot less conflict. So recognizing your deeper emotions and what you value at that deeper level, so you can get rid of what you don't value anymore and focus more on what you do, so you can manifest your whole reality and attract more abundance to you. Because the full came out, and when the eighth house transits happen, sometimes we cut something out abruptly so we can jump onto a higher timeline in general and recognize how much more suited that is for us. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. Scorpio, this is a really nice one for you. So Venus entering your 7th house, that makes all your relationships really, really good. So this could be romantic, friendships, marriage, business partners, clients. All relationships are just going to be easier, more harmonious, more in flow, more, just in tune with what you value and getting aligned. You can make a stronger commitment with your significant other. You could, meet somebody new that ends up being a long-term relationship. And yeah, it's really, really powerful. So Venus squaring Pluto in the beginning of this, maybe there's some sort of evolution when it comes to your values and relationships. Pluto in the 4th house is making you confront the deepest fears about family, past, and foundation. So you can kind of like transmute that, release that to less control, more love, and find, a nice balance in your relationships and home life. So yeah, maybe you do need to spend more time at home after Mars has been in the 10th. You've been very motivated towards career and everything. And maybe now it's time to just enjoy your relationships and go on a trip, travel. Venus does rule your 12th house, so maybe you're talking about the things that needed to be talked about that you weren't aware of that even needed to be talked about, so you can bring them up and, have those tougher conversations, but then be stronger on the other side. So yeah, maybe confronting family members or, just having a nice talk to evolve any sort of relationship issues. And then when Venus conjuncts Uranus, it's going to be really nice because there's a breakthrough when it comes to relationships, a random relationship that can come your way that's very beneficial, that helps you grow and evolve, that's kind of just connected to you in some way. There's some sort of magnetic, like connective quality to them that you feel like pulled to. That happens a lot with Uranus transits. And then also, just random opportunities can come your way. I do like the 7th house too, because it is like your outreach into the world when it comes to marketing and everything, and maybe reaching out to clients and making more clients. So maybe you connect with people, but a better client, maybe you come up with an idea to or a better marketing strategy to connect with people that you want to connect with and that you want to work with. And I love how Jupiter has entered your 9th house, and there's going to be kind of a nice sextile. So yeah, again, perfect traveling with a significant relationship can be really fun and adventurous. And yeah, you're lucky. Jupiter's sending you a lot of love. So you are naturally more optimistic and abundant and lucky. And traveling is actually a very lucky thing for you to do right now. So yeah, get out there, have fun with, the relationships that you really care about, and, start find what's really meant for you out in the world. So there is some sort of heaviness that you're walking away from, and it does look like you're facing some sort of like bigger cycle that has ended or is ending. The Wheel of Fortune came out reversed, so it's like some sort of cycle, something that you needed to walk away from. Because your 8 of Cups also came out in the past, or that you're walking away from now, is actually setting you free. And it's kind of like letting you go towards like bigger, brighter things that are really meant for you. It's leaving that emotional heaviness in the past. And yeah, having that forgiveness and more love and finding that unity with everything and everyone. But yeah, it's cutting through some sort of illusion. Like maybe you saw things in a certain way that, was a little bit hazy, and it wasn't like the full clarity that you needed. But the full clarity that you needed is going to let you go into yourself a little bit more, hermit mode. So you connect to your vision and what you truly want out of life and love and relationships and all of the good things. So you can have this new beginning with love. So there is no love lost. At the end of the day, the more that you can just get back into what you love and keep your heart open, you can always attract the right relationships into your life. All right. Thank you so much, Scorpio. Hi, Sagittarius. So this is really nice for you. So Venus is entering your sixth house. Your sixth house is work, daily life, routines, exercise, diet, health. Your health could be improving. If you've been needing to look for a better diet or a better routine, this would be the time to have a major breakthrough, to kind of evolve the way you go about your daily life, the way you can be kind of more devoted to what you truly value in your daily life, and maybe work a little bit smarter, not necessarily harder. Balance out the giving and receiving, and make sure you're not, pushing too hard. You're going to be able to get along with coworkers a lot easier. You could come up with just a better way to streamline your life in general, so everything goes a little bit smoother. And yeah, you can meet somebody at work also, have an office romance or something. So Venus is going to be squaring Pluto. So in the beginning, there's some sort of intensity, and this could be intensity with, just your mentality, some intense communication that comes your way. Maybe you have to have a tough conversation with, somebody that you work with, or, tough communication. And also maybe there is a way to just like do your daily life better. Like, who do you connect with on a daily basis? Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius is about your community and neighborhood, and your siblings, and maybe what needs to evolve, basically, because you're recognizing what you value at a deeper level when it comes to your daily life and socializing and connecting with people and your neighbors. And maybe this is too much screen time. Maybe it's too much online time. I love how already, like, Jupiter's not out of Gemini yet, but so much less screen time. It's been nice. Like, at the height of that for a while, it was like I looked at my phone and it was like 11 hours on my phone. What am I doing? Okay. So you can cut out any habits like that, like scrolling, and so you can improve your daily life. What is your daily devotion? And what do you really value? How do you want to live? And spend more time on those things, make more room for those things. So you're not letting the pressure of the everyday life delegate you, so you can kind of claim your power back with how you want to live your reality, instead of letting reality live you, rule you. So yeah, you can find, a nice harmonious balance. And then with Venus conjuncting Uranus at the end of this, there can be some sort of like evolution, like maybe you let AI take over a part of your work, or, maybe you streamline something. Maybe a random connection comes your way that, really helps you, grow and evolve. Random work opportunity. If you've been looking for a new job, that would be a good time where you could get hired somewhere that's like, aligned with your hopes and your dreams and your wishes, because Venus also does rule your 11th house. So you could easily connect in an easier way, because Venus is in better condition to what your long-term hopes, dreams, and visions are. And even if they are far off and like wide reaching, how can you kind of have a breakthrough to let that happen in an easier way, like through a random connection or through, So yeah, this is all about collaborations. Three of Pentacles came out, and maybe something subconscious comes to the surface. Like the moon came out, so these are hidden emotions, subconscious emotions. They could be hidden fears. They could be just what you didn't even see before that you can kind of have a breakthrough with. So you can have more collaboration, more of an equal give and take. Maybe you've been taking on too much work and it's time to balance out the work when it comes to coworkers or around the house. But it's all about finding a more solid and steady ground with better collaborations with people that give in as much as you do. Balance out the giving and receiving. And the Hierophant and the Emperor came out. So yeah, you can really take charge with what you're committing to. The Hierophant is the Taurus card. So you're committing to what you really value. And by doing that, you can make your manifestations happen a lot easier, because your sixth house is where we commit to things in our daily life and our routines, so we can, make our manifestations happen. by recognizing your power, the Emperor, your power to take charge, your power to lead, your power to kind of organize. And I love how, Mars is entering the 10th house soon. So you're going to be able to take charge in a whole new way. You're going to be motivated towards your hopes and your dreams and your goals, and, wanting to go the extra step at work, wanting to take action. You can first get internally aligned and know what you want to commit to internally, and then take action. So find that balance, and it's all good. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. Okay, so Venus is entering your 5th house. So this is really fun. If you're single, this is going to be a really good time to date. Venus in the 5th house, it's a good time to date, meet people, socialize, go after your passions, go after your interests, and meet people that way. You're going to be more optimistic. You're going to be more of the life of the party, very charismatic, just getting along with people, and just wanting to have a lot of fun. But when Venus is squaring Pluto, maybe there's kind of, just a back and forth with what you really value and what's fun. And do you want to spend that much money? Because you can maybe have an intensity with needing to spend more. And I don't know, this kind of looks like also like who's paying for the bill, date while you're dating or something. And Pluto's asking you to kind of elevate your value and your self-worth. So you're not being a pushover with people. So you're having that elevated value. And you can have a lot of fun with manifesting, like law of assumption, like I am this, like, just know you're worthy of whatever that you want. And, it works with, your 2nd house. So I've been having so much fun with the robotic affirmations and everything. They work for the they really, really, really work in a very powerful way, in a really strong way. As long as they're the right ones, some don't work. I don't know. And I feel like that's like, because sometimes you do have to do something, and that is a part of your purpose. So you got to do that. There can be maybe just some sort of confrontation with money and who pays for what. There can be, just a back and forth with self-worth and making sure you have a very elevated self-worth, if you're dating. And, it can bring out some intense fears or whatever, but you can recognize those fears and leave them in the past. And then when Venus conjuncts Uranus, you can have a major breakthrough with dating, fun, romance, creativity. That looks like, just a random creative idea that pops into your brain that's, fixes that thing at your business or gives you some sort of creative solution. Maybe this is a new way of going out and having fun, and you are connecting with people that you really want to connect with, that are more fun, that are more aligned with your values and what you like to do. And I think that's it. So it looks like you're walking away from something. With the 8 of Cups that came out, it looks like you're walking away from some heavier, dense emotions. Because maybe there was something that you were clinging on to out of safety, out of security, old ways of having fun, or Pluto in the 2nd house can be like something that you used to value. So you're clinging on to it, but maybe you don't value it anymore. And it's actually better if you set yourself free from it, and making sure that your value is focused on your self-expression and your self-love. You can come up with a really powerful way to express yourself in a whole new way and have a lot of fun with it. The 8th gate in human design in Gene Keys definitely reminds me of Taurus in the 5th house, because it is like having fun with your unique, inner diamond self, and, your inner essence and your inner child and who you were, without letting the world or society or whoever dim you down, and finding that light to really spread out into the world, because you had to be serious with Pluto in the 1st house. And now you're ending that era, and I feel like you're still like adjusting. So now you can recognize things are lighter, things are a lot more fun. You can really trust your intuition, and things at work are going to be better too, because Venus rules your 10th house. So things at work and, when it comes to manifesting your long-term goals are a lot faster. But the High Priestess came out reversed. Let me see. Your subconscious is maybe speaking to you in a certain way, but you're not listening. There can be a creative idea that you need to really take action on, but definitely moving away from something, because Six of Swords. Yep. Okay, so you're coming out as the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. That's so funny. This came out for Virgo too. So putting yourself on that pedestal, you are the Queen of Pentacles. She receives, she is abundant. She puts herself kind of first and grounds herself, and then she can be, abundant to everybody else. And it's kind of getting into that mentality, and also getting into your passion and your fun and where your heart is really pulling you, because that can lead you towards the new kind of abundance that you can make. And not being afraid to create new abundance too. Like making money can be fun. And you as a Capricorn should be doing that, making money can be fun, and you can be extremely rich, like with making money fun. Okay. But yeah, so have your intense emotions you could be walking away from, but you're leaving it in the past. Six of Swords, it's like anxieties and fears that were just mental, that you're just leaving in the past. But it was these thoughts or ways of thinking were actually very draining and very heavy. So you're recognizing how you can just release yourself and set yourself off on this abundant timeline to be more in charge, be more in your energy and unique essence, and kind of in your own superpower to go towards what's really meant for you. Because when you follow your heart, it does lead you towards more of the lucky things and more of what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, very lucky time for you. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. Okay, so Venus is entering your 4th house, which is really, really nice. It's making your home, family life, your foundation, beautiful. So you can be really getting along with your home and your family relationships, really resolving things, making things really harmonious. You can also be beautifying your home, renovating your home. If you're moving, this would be a time where you would find like the perfect place to live at the perfect price point. And yeah, Venus also rules your 9th house. So, it's in better condition when it comes to seeing the overall vision and being aligned with your meaning and purpose. And yeah. So first though, Venus is going to be squaring Pluto. So there's some sort of frustration when it comes to home and family and foundation, and some tension that needs to be faced when it comes to yourself too. So maybe there needs to be some sort of evolution with how you see yourself. Because Pluto in the first, sometimes you can worry too much about how you're being portrayed or something, or how you're being observed. Yeah, more so observed. So you can be like more in your authentic self. So you can be more powerful just with who you are, getting more into your authenticity, getting out of any fears. Like maybe there is a way that your family only approved of, so you grew up like that, but maybe there's a way that you can actually set yourself free with what you believe and be that stronger, bolder, more powerful version of yourself. So yeah, it is like a little bit of a tension for evolution. But yeah, you can't people please with Pluto in the 1st house, and it's all about recognizing how you can be really powerful with connecting with. Not everyone has to like you, not everyone is going to like you, but as long as you like you and you're connecting with the other people that like you, that's the most important thing. Okay, and then Venus is going to be conjuncting Uranus, so there could be some sort of breakthrough, some sort of setting yourself free when it comes to home, family, and foundation. And Uranus is almost out, so hold on tight, because I know some Aquarius risings have had their lives kind of uprooted, a lot. with Uranus being in the fourth house since 2017. But this can be some sort of nice breakthrough, maybe something that, you know, sets you free from the past, because the fourth house is that deep internal, like, core healing. So you can get more so back into your original self, so you can release anything that's just not serving you when it comes to certain relationships or old values. You could be stuck on old world values or something, or, you know, maybe there's like a property or something that you want to sell and free yourself from, you know, that way. But yeah, it looks like a little bit of chaos just to like up level, and that's good. And I love how, you know, work is going to be doing better. So, you know, maybe finding a nice time with family, because work's going a lot smoother than it did in the last year. Okay, so let's pull some cards for Aquarius. Yeah, that's also like majorly being aligned with the inner core of who you truly are. So you can bring that out into the world and represent, like, you know, your natural essence out in the world. So yeah, it looks like, you know, a message could be coming your way. The Eight of Wands came out, message coming your way. Maybe you do want to travel. Maybe there's a different belief system, a different way of seeing the world that does help you take charge. Yeah, well, cool. Some sort of freedom, some sort of moving fast towards something that you really value, because you have some sort of awakening. You know, a tower moment might happen, and sometimes that's an internal awakening. Sometimes that's like a little bit of chaos or shakiness to liberate you from a foundation that was never solid in the first place. But it's so you can go towards what you really love, and so you can prioritize what you love and have more love and self-compassion and empathy. Queen of Cups is very empathetic and connected to her feelings and her intuition. And you easily see through the bullshit with Pluto in the first house. So trust your intuition and, you know, really go towards what you love. Home is where the heart is, and you prioritizing your home and foundation can make your creativity really overflow. And make you take charge. So yeah, this looks like majorly internally aligning in a big way, so you can externally take charge in a way faster way. A breakthrough that happens that gives you more awareness that this is what you really love, and this is how you can manifest and create a really solid foundation and more of what you want. And yeah, you're going to be able to take charge after, in a really fast way, after the blocks get cleared. All right, thank you so much, Aquarius. All right, so Venus is in the third house for Pisces. Yay, nice. So when it comes to your daily life, everything should be going a lot smoother. Third house is daily life, communication, your mentality, community, siblings, all going a lot smoother. You're going to be a little bit more optimistic. This is a good time to kind of connect and meet people in the neighborhood, just out and about in your everyday life. Some significant relationship can come into your life that's very solid and very supportive. And I love how there's going to be this nice sextile with Jupiter, you know, in your fifth house. I mean, they're not going to sextile, but, you know, this is like a by sign sextile, which is, you know, supportive energy, where like you can have more fun. It's time to, you know, you are lucky having fun. It's time to have more fun. It's time to, in your self-expression, your creativity, and, you know, just what is fun to you? What are you passionate about? How can you open up your heart more to go towards that and connect with the beautifulness of life with that? And maybe you go to more occasions, maybe you go to a birthday, maybe you know, have random connections that are very fulfilling. So Venus is going to be squaring Pluto. So this can at first bring like subconscious fears to the surface, possibly. Maybe there's some sort of, you know, just thing you going about your everyday life, and you have some sort of awakening or evolution with ways you limited yourself or ways you self-sabotaged when it comes to your everyday life, and going after your manifestations, old ways of thinking, old ways of being that you can really free yourself from. And same with Venus conjuncting Uranus. There's some sort of breakthrough, some sort of evolution. Maybe there's a little chaos, maybe there's a tech glitch, but there's a good time. This is a good time to like connect with people online. You know, actually, this is like meeting somebody randomly on a dating app and it going really well. And yeah, there's some sort of positive relationship or situation that comes into your life. This could be having a major breakthrough with some sort of marketing strategy too, or you know, maybe a creative idea that solves a certain problem in your life. Okay, so let's pull some cards for Pisces. But I would definitely suggest robotic affirmations with Venus in the third house. That's literally kind of perfect for that. So all your manifestations can come true. So the Knight of Wands came out. What card want to come out for you? What's this? Okay, so you have some sort of wisdom from some sort of immature energy. Maybe this was an immature way of taking action. Maybe this was an immature person, but you kind of have like a wider view of how to resolve things now, how to take action, how to plan, how to organize in a better way. Like, yeah, you know, when Venus is in the third house, it's a good time to declutter, a good time to organize and plan in a better way. Also, you could be dealing with contracts because Venus rules your eighth house. So maybe you're renegotiating contracts. Maybe you're just making connections smoother in the first and having those conversations that need to be had. But it's all very beneficial. But yeah, it looks like you're connecting to your intuition in a big way. The High Priestess came out, so you're connecting with your subconscious and your higher vision. So maybe there's some sort of more trust and faith that you can have. Maybe you're having a very intense download from the other side with Pluto in the 12th house that just gives you this like direct access to where you're supposed to be going, what are you supposed to be doing, and you know, just some sort of brilliance that kind of really empowers you in a certain way and just makes things better. But overall, trust your vision, trust your ability to negotiate and plan and make things be, you know, the way you want it. And you are a powerful high priestess. Trust your intuition. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. All right, Aries, this is awesome for you because this is happening in your second house. So you're getting a boost when it comes to your money, your resources, your income, and also elevating your values with what you really want in your everyday life. What is supportive to you? You know, if you want to improve your daily eating habits, actually, this would be a really beneficial time. If you want to, just elevate the way you eat, elevate the way you nurture yourself, and taking care of your needs to create that, you know, very solid foundation. This is a really good time to do it. If you've been needing more of a raise, this would be a good time to ask. You could just be receiving more money, you know, when it comes to clients, when it comes to just the way you receive money, you could be receiving a nice boost. This is also a really good time to kind of, you know, connect with ideas that do help you make money. Maybe you start, you know, an income stream. Maybe you have a really smart idea with, just improving your resources and financial stability. And with Pluto, that's going to be squaring, Venus, that is going to be squaring Pluto. There can be some sort of evolution when it comes to your hopes and your dreams and your wishes and what you value. So there is some sort of intensity with looking at the big picture. And do you want what you want, or have you been focused on what everybody else has? And how can you kind of get more in touch with what you value, so you can manifest more of that and let go of anything that you don't? You know, there's no need to fit in with the Joneses or whatever that saying is. So you can kind of evolve. Beware of money struggles, I guess, back and forth with money and friends. That could be a little frustrating, maybe have that conversation. But also this could be intensity for good, like really like investing in a project or long-term goal that you really want to start because you believe your value, you're worthy of it. You believe in your ability to receive it. So you boosting up your value and your self-worth makes you be able to obtain your biggest hopes, dreams, and visions in a much easier way. So I love that. And then with Venus that's conjuncting Uranus, you can have some major up-leveling when it comes to money and your resources. Maybe you invest in crypto, maybe you invest in something that you really value. Eighth house is more so investing, but I don't know, maybe you do have a different way of thinking about money that does free you up, but also lets you make money while you're sleeping or something, So be open to that. Stand up first. Yeah, there is some old way of valuing something. Ace of Pentacles came out reversed. So there's an old way of making money where you can actually focus on the new way of making money. With Neptune in your first house now, like you can make your biggest manifestation and dreams come true in a really easier way. And that work and play is possible all at the same time. Because Six of Wands came out. So you're really getting in touch with the way you shine out in the world, the way you have that confidence. You got to show us how to, with this energy for the next couple of years till 2008, you got to show us how to be bold. You got to show us how to take the lead. You got to show us, to just be, more of our authentic selves, be who we are, and, less people pleasing, more just taking action and being who you are and going towards what you love. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's just a release of old things that you don't value anymore, so you can shine brighter with what you already have. Your natural charisma and confidence and boldness and leadership and following your heart. That's how you're really going to show us to be a big, bold, bright leader by knowing you already have it all. And that core essence of who you truly are, the more that you can bring that out is how you can be the most successful. Your relationships are going to be doing better too, because Venus rules your relationships. So Venus in better condition, things are much more harmonious and smooth, and you're getting along and going with the flow. And you can meet somebody at work, actually. That's very significant. Anything else? Nope. Be open to, don't be afraid of any money that was lost in the past, as long as you're open to the new and your heart and opening up to the opportunities and connecting, possibly with soulful connections that feel abundant, that make you feel alive, that feel expansive. Then you're going in the right direction that's meant for you, because there is an opportunity coming your way, and you got to make sure you're open to it and that you're not shutting it down, immediately or anything. There's that old world way of thinking that you can release so you can be open to the new abundance. All right. Thank you so much, Aries.